Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Welcome to all the guests. First of all, I gotta say, tremendous day today. Tremendous. Hayoim Tisha V'Arbaim Yoim Shem Shivo Shavuos Ba'omer La'omer. For some, it's like the very first time they ever finished. For me, it's already the second time that I'm finishing. I'm so excited. It's unbelievable. Okay, no, somebody wrote to me that it's literally one of the benefits of being part of the Shir. We have some very chashuv guests. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name?
Menachem Tzvi
Tzvi, and these are your grandchildren, the first boys. David. What's his name? Yehuda, all from Manchester?
Yes.
And you brought them in, Eretz Yisrael, for a trip. Beautiful, beautiful. Who else do we have here? I saw... Shalom Aleichem. Wie heißt der noch einmal? Nisano? Wise from? Barbara, we only met a few times. And these are your kids. What's your name? You're not a guest, okay. You're also not a guest. Not a guest. And Ezra Abrams is not a guest. Okay, Givaldik. Oh, wait a minute, we have... Who's the tzaddik next to you, Lauren? That you spilled coffee all over him. I saw. I mean, we're not going to show it in cheer, but I saw you try to get up that sidewalk and... What? All right. I have a beautiful... Oh, no, he's not a guest. I even knew him from Manchester. נחma. It's not... What time? Is it your first time here? No. Fourth time here. Rabbi Sai, just a hagdama to this video. I was extremely emotional. It's very personal to me. I don't know if you will be as emotional as me. For sure not. But I think there's something special over here. This is a big Talmid Chacham. His name is Mordechai Lubelsky. He came to the Shir once from, I think, Manchester. He used to work full-time. He watched the Meaningful People episode, and he said that he was very inspired by it. I said over there that, you don't have to work that much, 10 hours a day. So he actually literally took it to heart. He put less hours of work in and became a Magichir in Yiddish. To the point that now he has maybe 1,000 Talmidim or so in Yiddish, in Oiraisa. And he came here to thank me. He said, it was because of you. You inspired me. I'm doing it. You have a schus in these things. Rabbi said, here's a beautiful video that he sent me yesterday. Mamish last night. Full volume, please. And I want to thank Nechemi Seltzer. I asked him to put the captions on late last night, and he did it, mamish, in no time. Here it goes.
Reb Eli, Amud Beis. First of all, I wanted to thank you once again. Necht noch megendig, mesechtes psuchim. And alles in Danskis. We had over 100 people by the Siyum, and the whole shir only started because I got inspired from your interview you had with the Meaningful People. The master chmidded the Zeilen am Master, because I wasn't planning on sending an email or sending a video clip, nothing, but I chmidded the Zeilen. Yesterday I came home from Etzesul, and as I always do, I go to my mother's kaive. When aufgang zu haben Niches, ich habe gedaven dorten. As I'm a coin, I can't mamish go inside, bin gestanden auf dem Gas, and ich habe gedaven dorten. On the side, I saw Pirchei Kaiva Stefansky. I took note of it, but okay, big deal. Then when I left, I thought, maybe that's your mother. So I drove back up the hill, and I checked, and I said in the Takeris Bas Mordechai. So I double-checked further to ask around, is that your mother? And I found out, yeah, it is your mother. It turns out that our mothers are 3 rows apart. Your mother and my mother, and the whole Beis Chaim, Hamaniches, thousands of Kvurim, 3 rows apart. Is who knows if this Shidduch, my inspiration that I got from you, has been orchestrated by our mothers oben in Himmel. So matake warte solche sein, lil moide lelamed, auslernen teure verklare Sul, dass die keine warte mamschig sein mit einer Woide Sakoidisch. Hat's Luche im Woche.
I was just a little... Wow. Oh, you guys, I wasn't sure. I thought I felt stupid showing it. Like, kidding? Okay. No, because a lot of times people ask me, what do you think? What's your schos? I don't have schos, like I'm a regular balabas. And I thought my father, he's a huge learner. My mother she was a very special person. But this gave me like a little bit of, wait a minute. Ruspas Mordechai, maybe she's up there. She's piling ice. My name is Russell Rosenfeld, the one in the blue sweatshirt. Wow. And I met you at the Sim by the White Shul. I started doing the daf with brachas when my friend started the WhatsApp chat, just do it. And I got pressured into it. All the cool kids were doing it. I'm not a big learner, and some sections are easier than others, but the ones that are hard make me double think as to why I'm doing this. To make a long story short, in the middle of the Nedarim, I was about to throw in the towels. I didn't think I was getting anything out of it. And somehow I found Yeshir. Since then, I've been enjoying the daf, learning, and most of all, retaining. I love the emails, the illustrations, the jokes, the way you give over the shir. I'm in this until the end of Mirz Hashem. Thank you for all that you do. Wishing you much atzlacha mazel. P.S. I wanted to ask you a question at the White Shul. Maybe he wants to know what Yoshi looks like. Much love, you student forever. Russell Rosenfeld Woodmere. This is for you, Reb Nachman. 2 people sent in 2 videos of stores. One is Bingo and one is Evergreen. And listen to what they're playing on the loudspeakers in the stores, both the same song.
We're in bingo. Listen to what they're playing.
Dun, 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 dun. The speaker. So you just okay, and here's another one. This is an evergreen. We need a little bit more volume, maybe. Rabbi Isai, you know what this is? You're not going to believe it. For all the talking and all the hacking in the middle of the shir, Dr. Avi Factor won a $100,000 Sefer Torah last night. Yes. And guess what he did? He took the cash.
And donated it too.
The Meiser, Rabbi, apparently you're giving Meiser to Yad Lachem. That's what you wanted from Yad Lachem, no? I was wondering how come we're not getting anything from you. Pumping everything to Yad Lachem. Rabbi say, I want to give Akar Satoiv, the Jewish press, front page of the Jewish press, the story about New York. This might be the very first time in Divoch that they have somebody that doesn't have a beard in there. Usually it's Gdolim and Rebbes. And this is an unbelievable article. I read it this morning, unfortunately. The shir is going to be a little shvach. I got so into it. These guys in Moment, this is the magazine in Yiddish. Unbelievable how they wrote the story about the Borough Park Siyum, the Monsey Siyum. Here's the writer. What's his name? Mendel Lerner and Israel Boim. Seriously, unbelievable writers. And finally, tonight, Leil Shavuos, Daf Yud is at 1 a.m. here in the Beis Medrash. Motzei Shabbos, Daf Yud Aleph, because we're continuing. Daf Yud Aleph at 10 o'clock. And Daf Yud, for those who missed it on Shavuos, I have to do it again to record it. It will be at 11 p.m. Be'ezras Hashem, Motzei Shabbos. And reminder to the Olam to make your Erev Tafshilin here. Yossi, what's his name again? Dahari, that's right. Yossi Dahari from Manchester put this together. Yishkoich Yossi. There is a shir on Sunday morning, and the editor won't be here. He will be shlufen. He has 2 shirim to take care of. The Koilo, sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. The Masechta, sponsored by Moshe Banda. To thank Hashem that I'm able to thank Him for everything that I have. The Parnas HaChodesh Li Nishmas Chai Bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh is Eli Nishmas Zechariah Ben Moshe. Parnas HaYoim, Mendel Lerner, in honor of Reb Eli, helping promote the live Zoom shir with a goal of 500 participants. So Mendel Lerner asked me if we could do something to spice up the Zoom a little bit. We used to have hundreds of people, now we're down to about 100. So I thought, we'll try something out. We'll try it today. Hopefully it will work, and hopefully I remember. By the turning of the daf, maybe we'll go live to one person on Zoom, just get his name, number, just to bring in people from around the world. And if it might encourage people to watch it live on Zoom. Because
easy with Gary.
Huh?
Start easy with Gary.
Gary's on Zoom? No. We're going to get Mendel Lerner, Be'ezras Hashem. Congregation Pirchei Shoshanim, honoring the Inspire My Parents Siddur project. 300 free stickers to help have Kavana. The art of the month for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi Ben Leir. Boys, here we go. We're middle of a beautiful sugya. We kind of ran through it. You know what? And L'Kovet Shavuos, let me just throw out this very, very short vart. that the question is, Shavuos. I didn't say Lilu Nishmas Ruz Bas Mordechai. I was so excited about the video. It's called Kabbalah Satoira, right? Shavuos is Kabbalah Satoira. But we say in Shmoneh Esrei Matan Torah Seinu. Is it Matan? Does he give it or we take it? So the Kotzker Rebbe says HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it. But the question is, how much do we take? How much everybody can take as much as they want. Some of us take more, some of us take less. So as we come into Kabbalah Satoira, we should chap as much as we can. And so we could start small. If we're doing the daf, we can add 5 minutes. 5 minutes of Torah for the next year. And a big part of the issue, I think, is that people always have these baggage. They have baggage. Different things that they feel that they maybe did in life, a different aveira or whatever is holding them back. And the idea is, no, every year we start over. It's Matan Torah, Kabbalah Torah all over again. Whatever happened in the past is in the past. We look forward without any sort of insecurities and problems like that. We go weiter. Zok the Gemara. So we're holding like this. We're in a sugya called Palgina Diburei, right over here. So unfortunately, I didn't think about this yesterday. So the art is just Stefansky art, nothing high tech. And the question is, if we could do something like this, could we split and say we're going to go with part of the words on the right, and we're not going to take the words on the left? He said one sentence. So the Gemara said, L'mashal, if he says Atzmecha Nechasa, he tells the slave, you could be kind of yourself with all of my possessions. So what we do is we say Atzmecha yes, Nechasa no. Why? Because he actually said 2 different statements. It's 2 words, 1 sentence, but it's 2 separate statements. You could be kind of yourself. Thank you, Nehemiah, Shkoyach. I don't know, did I call him Nachman before? Okay. Nehemiah Seltzer is in the house. Shkoyach for the captions. And Shuir, that's right. 49 days of Shuir. Nehemiah Seltzer, Shkoyach, Be'emes, Shkoyach. Ask Danny Fine how many people did Shuir because last time you said that, the bad things, whatever. People can, okay. We'll talk about different. Yeah, exactly. Nice, Yosef, nice. Noam doesn't know what's going on because he wasn't at the Sion, but it was a good joke. Now, no, I saw you looking like this. Okay. Kol nechasai. This is the Gemara's question. Again, if he says atzmecha nechasai, atzmecha means yourself, so he's kind of himself. Nechasai, he's not kind of. Oh, let's explain. Himself, he could be kind of. Why? Because it's similar to a get of a woman that all you need. You believe him. You believe the shliach. You believe the woman that b'fanei nechtam. So he's believed. Nechasai is monetary value, and for that you need 2 eidim. So a single person is not believed to say, "Oh, he gave me all his possessions." Shalom aleichem. He gave me $25 million. No, we're not going to believe you. You need 2 people. What happens if a person writes? He says, "Kol nechasa, kol nechasa." That's what we're holding right now. So Abai wanted to say palgin diburei. I'm sorry, not loy palgin diburei. In the beginning, he said, we believe everything. We don't believe anything. Rava says no. You could split kol nechasa. You could. So we believe half of it. We believe that the slave is free. We don't believe him for the nechasa. So now let's just go back a little bit. 3 lines from the bottom of Amud Beis. Kiman, who did Rava say this idea that we could split the words, split a sentence? Kiman ki Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Domar palgin dibur. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai holds you could split a sentence. This nan hakoysev kol nechasav la'avda yotze ben chayrin. If a person tells his slave kol nechasa, he goes out ben chayrin. Shir karka kol shu lo yotze ben chayrin. But however, if he says, if he writes that there's one tiny piece of karka, one possession somewhere that I'm not going to give the slave, lo yotze ben chayrin. If he's already holding back something, I need to be concerned that he's also withholding the slave. And if a slave is withheld, then the slave who's still a slave cannot be kind of anything. He gets 0. So why did he say it? L'chanufe, to make him feel good. It's a really good feeling to think you're getting $25 million and yourself only to find out you get 0. Okay, that's what he wanted to do. Reb Shimon Oimer, Lo'ilam hu ben chayrin. So if we stop right over here, here's the sheet of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Reb Shimon holds that even if he sets aside a piece of land and he says, you get 100% of everything besides a little piece of land, and I don't know where the piece of land is, so it could be in Manhattan, it could be in Bet Shemesh, it could be in Brooklyn, it could be anywhere. The guy has land everywhere. He's a big real estate mogul. I don't know what he meant. He didn't specify. So I can't give David land. I don't know. Is it very valuable? Is it not so valuable? Which piece of land? Since he didn't specify, I can't give him land. But I could give him himself. What is that called? Palgin dibure. Since he said, I'm giving you everything, but at the end of the day, he doesn't get everything because I don't know which piece of land to give him. So Mela, and he gets himself, the top words of Daf Amud Aleph, Lo'ilam hu ben chayrin, he gets himself, but he doesn't get land. So it's palgin dibure. I'm splitting his words. I didn't listen to the master 100%. Okay, so here's Shitas Reb Shimon. Now we keep on going. Unless he says, I'm giving you all my nechasim, besides 1/10,000th, even though Rashi says the slave is worth $1 million, but it's included, it might be that he meant you to me you're only worth 1/10,000th of everything I own, and in that case he doesn't get it. He doesn't get himself. But if he doesn't say, he gets himself. He gets himself, but he doesn't get real estate. So that's palgin dibure. Okay, I know what you're about to ask. I have the same issue. Taisvis. They thought, what are you asking? Let's hear it. I don't want to guess what you're asking. Oh, very good. That's not Taisvis kasha. That was more of my question. Yes. And it's a good, I like the kasha. I don't know exactly. I don't. He wants to know, at the end of the day, it's a technical thing. It's like, he really does get everything, just one piece of karka, I don't know where it is. It's like, okay, I can't get there because I can't find the flight to get there. But at the end of the day, he gets it. I just don't know which one. It's not palgin dibur as much. If you say, okay, fine. I struggle with that also. Fine.
I think Rashi says that it's not a complete separation. Creases have to be complete separation.
No. We're getting there in a second. No, that's a different Gemara. I think you're confusing. In a second. Oh, you're saying the same Svara?
Same Svara applies here. You don't have clear creases.
Time out. He gets himself, right? So we're not talking about creases now. He gets himself. He just doesn't get a piece of property. You know what I'm saying? So that's the next sugi you're talking about. Says Gemara of Yosef Omer of Nachman. Afal pisha kilas Reb Yossi's Reb Shimon. Even though Reb Yossi said that what Reb Shimon is beautiful, halacha ki Reb Meir. The halacha is like Reb Meir. That loy palgin in dibura. So if that's the case, we have a little bit of a problem. Reb Yosef is Rava's Rebbe. How in the world would Rava say that halacha is like Reb Shimon? We just said Rava says palgin in dibura. He split his words. He goes like Reb Shimon. But we don't paskin like Reb Shimon. Reb Yosef says we don't paskin like Reb Shimon. We paskin like Reb Meir. The loy palgin in dibur, right? He gave him a lot of praise, but it's not enough. The halach is not like it. This anya kishenem dvarim lefnei Reb Yossi. When they said Reb Shimon's thing over in front of Reb Yossi, kar all about mikra hazeh sfosayim yishok meishiv dvarim nechoichim. You have to kiss him. He's saying true things. Some explain that you kiss him on the lips. In Shir Hashirim it says Yishakenim in Shiko's Piyu. So the Medrash of Shir Hashirim says that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said the Dibur, when he was giving the Torah, the Malachim came, and they took the words, and they brought it to the people, and they said, Mekabel this, these are the halachas, this is the schar. And when they said, yes, we'll be Mekabel, yeah, Matan Torah, we're Mekabel today, Mekabel. So the words went on them. It's like the bringing pasuk, Advar Masher Roei Necho, that they were Mekabel. It's like the words kissed their mouth. Okay, so Sai Mishak, Pachi could give him a kiss. It's so beautiful, but nevertheless, the halach is not like him. It's great, but the halach is not like him. The halach is not like him. So what is the halacha? The halacha is like the other man, Reb Meir, who says Loi Palgin Dibur. We don't divide the words. So why would Rava say we divide the guy's words when the guy says Kol Nechasai, everything to you, slave, and we separate. We said Nechasim he's not believed on, himself he is believed on. Says Gemara, Umiyomer Rav Nachman Achi, Rav Yosef Rav Nachman, Shchimra shekasav Kol Nechasav la'avdoi va'aman. So you have a Shchimra here, basically the same story. You have a Shchimra, a guy who's on his deathbed, and he said, "I want to give everything to my slave." Va'amad, and then he became healthy again. Chayzer ben Nechasim ve'erin chayzer be'eved. Everything goes back. Everything goes back to the original Shchimra, besides the Eved. Chayzer ben Nechasim. And so if we stopped right here, what is that called? Palgin Dibure. Right? Again, we're splitting. Slave, not Nechasim, yes. It goes, or fakir, slave, he's kind himself, Nechasim, he's not kind himself. Okay. Why? When Divrei Shchimra, I have that a little later, but I'll show it over here maybe. Here. Divrei Shchimra kichsuvim surim dami. When a guy's on his deathbed, we say whatever he says goes. Why? We don't want to shaloi the Torah of daitoi. He shouldn't become a little meshigya. So this special law, we don't want him to go crazy that we're not listening. We listen. Whatever he says goes. But the Eved remains free. Why? Listen, if a guy becomes Jewish, you can't unjew him. He's a Jew, finished. Just because he the guy healed afterwards, that's it. Once he's a Jew, he's a Jew. A guy, Lamashal, you look at me, a guy, Rav Amnon Yitzchak says this, man, it's a famous thing. Guy he wanted to become whatever the religion, we're not going to say. He goes, becomes a noitzri. But the guy says, the priest tells him, on condition that you don't eat gefilte fish. Fine. How can I not eat gefilte fish? So one day, Friday night, the priest comes in, he sees him eating gefilte fish. I told you on condition. He says, it's not gefilte fish. I put some water, I went like this. It's shalom, it's something else. You can't do that, right? So when a person becomes Jewish, he's Jewish. So again, you can ask me, right? No, it's technical. He should have got everything back. It's not Palgin Dibur. He should have got everything back. We don't say it is Palgin Dibur. Okay, says the Gemara like this. El Omer Avashi. The reason, says Rav Ashi, let's just say Balpeh. The reason why Reb Meir says that the slave is not kind himself on Amud Beis, Ches Amud Beis, when he says Kol Nechasai, it only applies to, it doesn't, Loi Palgin Dibura. You can't get yourself back, but not the Nechasai. You don't get anything back. Why? It's not because of Loi Palgin Dibura. For another reason. Don't bring me a ride. There's no Reb Meir. In other words, Reb Meir never said anywhere, Loi Palgin Dibure or Palgin Dibure. We just said that it doesn't work by a slave. If he comes and he says, my master said, you get everything. So we don't say, okay, get yourself, but not everything. Why? Not because of Loi Palgin Dibure. Another halacha. The reason is because of krisos. Elam Ravashi also ma'inu taimim mishum delav krus gitahu. So, real quickly, here goes. It says in the pasuk, and we're going to see this throughout the Masechta a lot. The Kosav Allah Sefer Krisus. That's the pasuk by Get. Sefer krisos. It has to be davar akaris beinoi leveno. It has to be a real split. If a man tells his wife, husband tells his wife, I'm divorcing you on condition you don't drink wine for the rest of your life. It's not a get. It's not a get. Why? Because for the rest of life, she's tied to him in one way in drinking wine. It's not a get. It has to be a complete get. Now, there's two words law. One, the word law in green by Sefer Krisos, Kosav law Sefer Krisos. And it also says by slave, Chufsha loinitan law. So that's the famous law mi'isha. We learn a gzeira shava, a woman to a slave. And memela, just like by a woman, there's a problem of krisos. You're cutting it. It's done. So too, by an eved memela. If that's what Rachman was saying before, what's going on upstairs?
No, there's people that don't have seats. There's chairs over there. There's double chairs.
You're not supposed to be looking from up there. You're supposed to look at the screen.
Trying to get no more attention.
Ah, okay.
Busy writing stuff.
Tommy, you're not listening to shit. You're writing stuff. What are you writing? You're for sure not writing what I'm saying.
Chair in front of me, double chairs here.
Where are the chairs? Let's see. You're right. There's people standing, and nobody should be standing. Who's standing? Come over here. Nobody wants to sit over there. From the Benny, come. Donnie, why don't you sit over there and let the guests sit in your seat? Okay. Yishkoyach, now there's a big mahuma. Givaldi.
Well done. Thank you.
MDY is so popular. This Pasha is only standing room. We like it when they stand a little bit. Okay. The bottom line is, Rabbi said we lost focus here for a second. The idea is, just like by a woman, you can't divorce her and say she can't drink wine for the rest of her life, so too by a slave. If you say that there's some sort of property somewhere, something that doesn't belong to him, then it's not a full krisos. It has to be krisos, davar kairis. And memela, that's why it doesn't work by a slave. Not because of loy palgin dibura. Don't get involved in the bachlis palgin dibura. It has to do with not a krisos, and with this, we're done for this sugya for now. If there is somebody that protests the get, you have to be mekayim. You have to say, who are the Eidim? Let's see, could the Eidim themselves that signed the get, could they show up? Does anybody recognize the signatures? Says the Gemara, how many people are protesting? It's one person. You need at least two. Says, I don't know where it is. Somewhere, he says it. So we're talking about there's two witnesses that say this is not a good get. It's 2 against 2. So if you have 2 against 2, what happens? The woman goes back to what her original state was, and she's ish. Ella ir the bow. Huh?
It won't help in Spanish now.
Yeah. Okay. Won't help during right. It's 2 against 2, and the star is nothing. The get is nothing, and she remains ish. Says the Gemara, what happened was we have the husband. The husband is different. So for this, Yoshi did a shtickle thing for you. If you're Reb Nachman Seltzer, don't look. Value.
Before I nepta.
Fake news. I never saw this man in my life.
Okay. Weiter. What, נחמה? נחמה. Okay, hold on, because people were laughing. Shh.
Before I nepta.
Fake news. I never saw this man in my life.
All right. Good. Says the Holly. What? The second time is even better. That's why I showed it. No, because you're able to hear his accent. No, that's just, I'll leave it for you for him. The Heilige Mishnah, sponsored by Joel Friedman, my dear father, Chaim Avram Shalom Yeruchim Ben Yisrael David Olav Shalom. Rabbi said we had this. Good news. We had this word for word, everything. The Gemara, the whole thing. Somebody comes from Chutz La'aretz and he cannot possibly say the words if there are Eidim, so we just use the witnesses to testify about the signatures. It's there, so they recognize it. Great. Now, when it comes to the get of a woman and the get, shikhr of a neved, both of them need lishma. Believe it or not, you have to write the shichrur shtar to the l'chvoid lishma of the eved. Again, why? We learn eved from a isha. Oh, I forgot to say the famous meiser of Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Somebody asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky, is it permitted to, it's a little corny, is it permitted to learn music from a woman? So he says, what? Is the guy an eved? So nobody knew what he's talking about. He explained afterwards, la la mi isha. You learn eved, la la mi isha. Only an eved learns music from a woman. Okay, fine. Listen, even if it's corny, some people laughed. For those. Listen, I learned a very, very important thing. Seriously. When I was in Lakewood and Biden was falling down the steps, and I said this the other day, in Far Rockaway, in the White Shul, Biden didn't fall yet. Biden was walking towards the steps, and the crowd is on the. They knew what was going to happen. They're on the floor. I could show you the clip of them laughing like crazy. And when he fell, some people bursted like crazy. Come to Lakewood. So either they saw it already, like they watched the shir the day before, but I doubt it. Not everybody. It's nothing. Well, they see a guy walking up the stairs. He tripped a little bit. He went right there. Nothing. No. So I learned like this. There could be jokes. I say here a joke. And you guys look at me like this. But there's somebody somewhere in his dining room that's on the floor rolling. That's okay, fine. Echad Gittin nashim ve'echad shichruri avadim. Huh?
That's safe.
Yeah. It feels good. Thank you. Yeah. I love it. When you bring a get to Eretz Yisrael, when you bring a get and a shikhr from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz La'aretz, you must say b'fanei nechtam. For the slave also. This is going to throw us into the whole sugya, a bunch of mishnayos here, a few mishnayos that talk about the things that are similar between women, the get of a woman, and the get of an eved. Says Gemara, what does it mean he can't speak? What happened to him? If he's talking about a person who's born deaf mute, so he doesn't have seichel, he can't bring it. Here we again will show once we're there, why not? This is how we depict a cheresh. He doesn't have a mouth and doesn't have ears. I'm just laughing here because in the Shuir in New York, we read this Gemara. I asked the question, how is it possible that a person was 100% normal and he gave her a get, and within 10 seconds, before he couldn't even say the words, and he became a deaf mute? How's it possible? And I let out a scream. I'm not going to do it here. I said, what happened was, the guy gives a get to the woman, she opens it up, she sees get, and she goes, ah! And then like that just made him deaf on the spot. That was the Maisa. But I did it so loud that Gary almost fell off his chair, and he held his ears for like the next 4 minutes. Okay, there's 3 ways that a get is similar to the get of a woman is similar to the get of an eved. Maybe that we said. They have to say whether you bring it to Eretz Yisrael, take it out of Eretz Yisrael. The whole get. The word get over here, Rabbi say, write it in your pencil, means a shtar. Any shtar. Sheish 8 kusi, that a kusi. Wrote on it, signed his name, Posel, Chutz, Gittin nashim shichruri avadim. What's a kusi? This is how Yoshi drew a kusi. The kusim are a nation that came into Yisrael, they fooled us, whatever. A big machlokes throughout Shas are kusim geri emes or geri arais. Here in Eretz Yisrael, they live in Har Grizim. This is a real picture. They celebrate Simchas Torah, Shavuos. They celebrate Korban Pesach, Adei Yom Hazeh, and we're going to talk about them a little bit more tomorrow. The problem is that there are a lot of things that they don't keep at all. They don't believe in Torah Shabbal Peh, and we have major issues with them. So if a Kusi writes, and they have a whole community, Adei Yom Hazeh and Har Grizim. We took Har Sinai. They said Har Grizim is where the brachas were. They took it, that's their mountain. They actually live by Grizim. So if a Kusi signs his name on a get, and a get of a eved, it's good. The Gemara is going to explain that there's a Jew with him. When it comes to get, the two signees, the two guys signing their name, they have to be there. So the Jew is going to testify basically that the Kusi is a good guy. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're Tamid Chachamim. And all shtaros that go out in a non-Jewish court, right? You buy real estate in America. You're doing it in a non-Jewish court. You could have non-Jewish witnesses. So it says, because of law, Sefer Krusus v'nosam biyoda. Thank you. Because of v'nosam. The only people that could have to do with a get are people that could write a get. Since if you're apostle, you can't write a get, so you can't be there by the Nesina either. But when it comes to real estate, when it comes to dinim mamanis, Rashi says all the nations are chayiv in sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach. All the nations have to have court systems. It's part of their mitzvah. So they're in the parsha of mamanis. Sponsored by the Friedman family for our sisters, נחמה bas Pנחas Eliezer and Chana Etel bas Pנחas Eliezer. You want to do it? Should we try it real quick, even though we only have 6 minutes? Let's try it. See how long this lasts. If it lasts a day, great. At least we get to meet Mendel Lerner. Reb Mendel Lerner, Shalom Aleichem. How are you? What's your name and where are you from? I wish I could mute that. Oh.
Someone's laughing. Someone's laughing.
I live in Borough Park. I'm on Zoom every night. And Baruch Hashem, because of that, I was able to not miss a daf since Shuir almost advised. And especially we appreciate that Reb Eli comes on to the Zoom every single day after the Shir. Sitting on the Zoom is like having a front row seat to the Shir. Probably a better seat than Nachman Seltzer has.
Wow.
We hope to have some more people join us so we can go to the Zoom Shir. Thank you.
All right. Rabbi say he owns the Rally Hotel upstate, so if anybody wants a place. All right. Yishkoich Mendel Lerner. Let's see what happens. Maybe more people will join Zoom. Okay, we got to go. Says the Gemara. There are 4 things that are similar between a get and a get shikhr of eved. If a person says, give this to my wife, give this to my slave, I want him to be free. So we're talking about Rabbi Isai. If somebody is receiving the get of a woman for the woman without her knowledge, he'll accept it. He's flying to Eretz Yisrael. Hey, he goes to the airport. You're going to Eretz Yisrael here. Please take this get from my wife. Is he zoicha? Is he kainet for the wife without the wife knowing? And what about the slave? The slave wants to be free. Zachan l'adam shalei b'fanav. So is it schus or not a schus? So then we have a machlokes over here. Since it's a chayv for both, Rameir says no, you can't. I didn't make you a shliach. Don't be zoicha for me. Chacham argue and they say, well, for a woman it's a chayv. For a eved, it's a big schos to be free, so you could accept it for him. By the way, the women that are waiting for a get for 20 years, they're dying to get divorced, they finally get divorced. Did they make a bracha shechianu? The psak is no. But on a slave, yes. Though there's a vitz that I heard from the Satmar Rebbe, that he asked somebody, how come you don't come to shul? He says, I'm very embarrassed. I got divorced, I can't show my face in shul. He says, are you kidding me? You come to shul, everybody's going to be jealous of you. What's there to be embarrassed? Okay, it's a vit. It's a chayv. At the end, it's a chayv. I think he was trying to make the guy feel good. Okay. Huh? To be mikabel. We're talking about the zachan.
This is he's talking about the shliach to bring the get and the husband wants to retract while he's not there.
No. Yes, he did that. He did that part. But now there's also a receiver. Is it too late? The woman receive it and you can't retract. Once I give it to the shliach to go, of course I could take it back. I could take it back. Why not? That's a different thing. I think it's talking about the guy receiving. We're talking about Zachal Adam Shalifanav. Look at Rashi. Go look at Rashi. I'll go part of
Huh? I like the Chaim's joke better.
Okay, we're not rating jokes now, but okay, each for their own. I can't do tens all share long. One is a joke, one is a Ma'aseh Shaya. Okay, so Minyana Bishlam Rabbanon Minyana Limuti Hadi Rebbeir. Rabbanon say there's three. I know how to count to three, even though I went to Panovich. So why does the Mishnah have to say there's three? Why do I have to say the Gemara has to say three? To teach us that it's not four, Remeir is fourth. Why does he have to say it's four? There's four things that are similar between a get and an avid. And we're going to have the Gemara now. There's a bunch of things that it could be that they're similar, but they're not. Very interesting. A guy is illiterate. He doesn't know how to sign his own name. According to Rashi, you etch his name and he fills it up with ink. How's that a signature? How could it be Mekayim later on? Okay, the Rishonim talk about it. According to Tosfos, it means that you make a mold. And he fills out the mold. It's interesting because there are people that wanted to do that for tefillin and mezuzahs. Imagine you have a mold. Exactly the most beautiful stencil, not stencil, like a stencil, where you just fill in, to pour the ink would be aser. But you take a kulmos, and you fill in exactly the way it is. You can make your own tefillin in 10 minutes. Save a lot of money, buy a piece of parchment, it'd be beautiful. You did your own Sefer Torah. So the G'daylim of our generation said you shouldn't do it. It'll bring for people who forge and this and that. Okay, imagine you could do it. It'll be great. So, says Rashi, this is the kana for aguna. We don't want aguna. So if a guy is leaving quickly out of the country, let's bring these Edom in, even though they don't know how to sign their name. Or he's about to die, he doesn't want his wife to fall evil. Let's bring him in. So Tanakama says this works for both a get and an evet. So we have something similar. Shimon says no. It only works for a woman of a they must be literate. If they can't write their own name, ain't chaysman. Ask the Gemara, we're talking about signing here. Why do you stick in the word they know how to read? Who cares about reading? You're right, there's a couple words missing. First, they have to know how to read. If they don't know how to read what they're signing on, you have to explain to them what's going on here. And if they don't know how to sign, then you etch it according to Rashi. Great. There's nothing else that's similar between a get of a woman and an eved. Both a get and the shtar shichur, and he dies. You shouldn't give it to him after he dies. So we have to see Rashi here. Rashi says Rashi, is this the case? That's what happened? No, I don't think this. Says Rashi, amazing thing. Listen to this. I was zoicha a shtar. I was zoicha for the other person. I'm allowed to be zoicha for the Evid. I want to be zoicha for him. This is Rashi, unbelievable. You hear what's going on here? I am accepting the get shichur for a slave on behalf of him. And I could be zoicha for him. It's his, but it's not his completely to make him meshucher. He doesn't get free until he actually receives it in his hand. Just thought it's important to see that Rashi inside. By the way, I'm going back for a second because I forgot to tell the Olam. When you go to Achlas Sefer Torah and you fill in those letters, it's very possible those letters are already kosher, even though they're not completely full, if they have the outline around. So if you want to really, really be zoich in the mitzvah of writing a letter, you have to make sure that the letter is broken, like it's a puzzle letter. But if he did a complete reish all the way around, and you just fill in the middle, yes, shoymrim that you weren't yaitze b'chlal. Okay, fine. So by a woman and a slave, you don't give a get after the death of the husband and the master. But what about if he said, give $100 to somebody? You do give. So here's something that's a difference. Says the Gemara, Kitani Milsa less b'shtaris. Milsa, this is b'shtaris, loy katani. So we're only saying things that are different between a get and a shtar, but not this doesn't apply by a shtar. By the way, because we're talking about shvuos here, there is no svarim. There are no svarim. You should just understand. When a person dies, there are no svarim in Shemayim. Zero. You can't go to the bookshelf and open up a Shulchan Aruch and learn Torah. You can't open up a Yerushalmi. So whatever you accomplish in this world, that's what you're going to learn over there. And it's gazillion years. So if you only learn one Masechta, you're going to be learning one Masechta for gazillion years. So we should brush up on more stuff, pull out more Svarim, learn more Yerushalmi, Givaldik. Lachar Misa, it doesn't work Lachar Misa like the Gemara says over here. Says the Gemara. Where are we? The Shalach Rav Mishmei the Rebavo have a yoidim Shalach Rav Elazar Lagoyla Mishum Rabbeinu said in the name of Rav Shchimera Shoma Kisvut Nu Mana Leplani Meis Shchimera, and that we said before. Shchimera Kisum Kisum Dami. So when he says about peh, it works. But if he says write it in writing, then the halacha, this idea, this concept that a shchimera could do whatever he wants and say whatever he wants, doesn't work because we see that he wants it done in a certain fashion, writing. So if he says write and give this piece of land to so and so, and then he dies, you don't give him the piece of land. Maybe he meant, I'm not a shchimera now, I want it in a shtar. And doesn't work. Fine. So you see that there is no difference between mumminess and a woman and an eved. All three you can't do after Misa. But the concept of writing a get and a get shichr with the intent of the person only applies to a woman and an eved. So that's something that's similar. That is in the Mishnah. We said that when you bring from Eretz Yisrael, you take out Eretz Yisrael, you have to do Lishma, you have to say B'fanei Nefta. Elo Rava Kasha, right? Back to this. And I got a number of emails that Yehei Shmei Rabba. And we say in Kaddish. So it's a way to remember Rabba is Shmei, is Lishma. Okay, fine. We did it like this. Rabba, I didn't know how to do it, so I did, hey. Akaponim. Huh? I know it says with the Aleph and it's in the emails also. They said, even though it's that, but we say it. Shmei Rabba. Bishlim Rabba, Hainu Moilchu Mevi. Elo Rava, Kasha Barava, who says the problem is Eidim, we have to find Eidim. That's something that's only applies to get in a woman and a Evan. V'su bein l'Rabba bein l'Rava hoikim mechubar, because it says v'chasav lo sefer krisus v'nosam biyada. Again, the same pasuk. It has to be ksiva and giving. But if you have to do another action in between to write, to be kaitzit and give, that doesn't work. But in other shtaras, you can buy real estate and write it on a shtar that's mechubal karka. Says Gemara, kikatani psul derabanan. Only something like b'fanei nefta, which is derabanan, or that a kusi is not good, is derabanan. Deraisa like katani. Mechuber is an Indian deraisa from this pasuk because of law. So we're not talking about. What about the fact that you can't do a get and a shichr in a court, but you could do real estate in a court? Says Gemara beidim isira. We're talking about there's a machlokes. What causes the get? The edim that sign or the edim that witness that the get was given? And we're going according to Reb Elazar, the Omar edim isiri karte. And Memela will continue the sugya tonight. Be'ezer Hashem. Rabbi, have a great yontiv. Have a wonderful day.